Good afternoon, everybody.
Same as this morning, I think. Just pretty strange questions.
This is Anthony's second session today. He did a session earlier this morning. Welcome to everybody. If you click on the icon at the top right-hand corner of your screen, you'll see it says there's an icon that says View, and if you click on that and select Speaker View, you'll get a full screen image of Anthony, and across the top you'll probably see a string of icons of those of us who are part of this meeting this afternoon. The meeting is being recorded and will be available to view a couple of days from now, and it'll be available for a month so you can review what's been recorded. If you've got any questions, if the numbers stay as low as this, if you've got any questions, if you'd like to unmute, raise your hand, sort of wave, and then ask the question. That saves typing into the chat session. But if you'd prefer to do it that way, by all means, use the chat function to type a question in, and Peter Reynolds and I will pick that up and pass it to Anthony to answer. I don't know whether you want to sort of give an outline of what you're going to cover this afternoon, Anthony, so that we all know. I'll hand over to you.
Thanks, Richard. So what I was going to do today was have in this afternoon session, just have a look at Loco, at the recent product releases, tell you what's new, share with you a little bit of history or whatever, and do a couple of demonstrations so at least it's on the video of things that people have asked us about recently. So we've got some fencing. How does the template work, and does it do inclines? And the other thing we've got, which is new, and we'll have a go at that later on, is a Wagon turntable. I've not put one together yet in 7mm, so we'll have a go at that and see how it works. It is just an overlay. It's not a working model, but it could easily be made to be workable. And as we go through the products, there's a little bit from most parts of the range. So just ask questions as and when you want to, and let us know what you're interested in. We can switch topics. We can chop and change whatever you need to know, whatever you'd like to ask about. Okay. Good. All right. So recently we've done a few different products. We've done variations on things we do already, but we've done some additional things as well. So you may or may not be familiar with the balance that we do. We've got different ranges, different shapes of balances that we do, and recently we've been doing a set for a customer, which is a Great Western one, but he asked for it to be a specific height. So this is a little bit shallower. If I hold it against there, you can see it's a little bit shallower, and this is a variation on the Great Western one, and this one's got a set of 2 holes in it. If you can see that, or if I hold it,
yeah, you see it shining through the skylight.
That's a good line. So variations. If you've got a need, just ask. We do lots of different things, lots of tailoring for customers and what they need. The other thing that we've done recently is platform shelter. So I'll switch to the local camera, Richard, and it gives a bit more of a close up. There we go. So platform shelter, which is sort of designed for an island platform, or the prototype was an island platform anyway, and it's planked on both sides, and it's a wood product. Everything we do is tailorable by us or by the modeler. You know, you just get your knife out, get a saw out, and you can change it. And that's the standard one. That was the specification that we did originally for the prototype. I've adjusted this one so that it fits around a seat quite tightly, but also that particular one, if you're using it with our platform canopies, it'll go through, go in between the posts. Yeah, so that was the original one off a different prototype, which is a little bit too long to go between, but easily tailored to what you need. Okay, so that's platform canopy. We also recently done a variation. We had this guards van. I think we did this at the last virtual show. This is an M&M Models first class kits, British Rail guards van, and we've got an interior kit here for it. So there's some benches and the wooden planking, and that'll hold in your glazing as well. It's just designed to be a little bit different to the brasswork. And we've done a variation of that for the connoisseur one as well. So we had a customer ask us about connoisseur. I think he saw it at the last virtual show, and said could he use it, and he shared an etch with us, and we tailored it a little bit, just around the windows in the veranda end, really. So there we go. That's that one. The Clerestory coach we were looking at before, just as you were joining, that's a 7mm one, and this is the one that was at Beamish. So if you remember, it had a locker at one end, some third class, first class, and third class, and it goes together the same as our other coach kits. The roof is removable, the partitions are there, and they go all the way up into the Clerestory. Quite simple to assemble, and I think, unlike the brass Clerestory kits you see around, if I hold that up like that, you can actually see through the Clerestory windows into the compartments. I know you're going to glaze them with an etched glaze or an obscure glaze anyway, but there you go. Just sort of constructed the same as the prototype. And if you're thinking about buying one of these, we've got a load of prototype photographs we can show you inside and outside as well. So that's quite an interesting development. And we've got one of our modelers has shared about a dozen extra diagrams with us. So you're not just stuck with the one diagram, there are other ones you can choose from as well. And what we'll do is we'll make cutting patterns for them as we get asked. Yeah. So that's that one. And the other thing that I was going to show you was a Wagon turntable. That's a bit of a glare on there, isn't it? No, not very good. Right, okay. So that's panels for wooden surface for a Wagon turntable. I know there were cast ones and combinations of different things, but this is one that we were pointed towards by a modeler, so that's what we did for him. Once we've done it, it's available for everyone. So if you've got a warehouse, if you've got a wharf or something like that you need a Wagon turntable for, that's what it is. Okay, so that's those ones. We have done some other Wagon inserts as well. whether you've seen them in at shows or on the website. We have some inserts for Slater's wagons. I think this one's a power sides one specifically. I could never paint wagons to look like wood, so we do a very thin plywood insert with a birch face, which has got a very fine grain on it, and you can weather it, paint it, or stain it, however you want it to be. This is sort of ex-works condition, isn't it? But you know, there's weathering to do on things. So that's sort of part of the basic range. Recently, we've been adding the Coopercraft wagons to the ones we've done on the Slater's range, and the latest one we've done is the 3H wagons. So this is a really old 3H wagon, but been brightened up a little bit by putting a wooden insert in, so that it's you know, it's been serviced. It's back in revenue use. Yeah. So those are sort of recent developments. And the other thing we've been doing during lockdown, the Loco boxes have been remaining fairly popular. If you know our Loco builder box, and we've been doing some different variations of this as well. So now we're doing 8 coupled ones for narrow gauge, which is a lot shorter wheelbase for smaller wheels. But they're getting good reviews from customers, and I think more professionals. I mean, we might have had quite a few silent professionals before, but we're getting quite a few good comments back from Loco builders, so that do it as a profession. So recently, I've been updating the website with some of their comments and encouragement, and you know, even if you're building a Loco with some compensation or spring in, we've dispensed with that myth now. You can use this for anything. I've done it in the past, but people didn't always believe me, but now the professionals are doing it, and there's a video of Nick Dunhill doing it on YouTube. Maybe that myth has gone away for good now. So that's Loco boxes. One of the things that I was going to do this afternoon was have a quick demonstration of our fencing. The fencing that we do has been around for quite a while. I've got a kit here. Oh well. So it's been around for quite a while, but we still get asked about what does a template do, and can it do inclines and things like that. So starter kit for fencing includes a template. This is the traditional one for Midland fencing. There's a different template for the diagonal one, and there's a different template again included in the London Northwestern fencing. So they're different construction methods, different templates, but they really do help you to make sure that when you're building the fencing, it comes in, you know, it's level and it's consistently spaced, and so on. Okay, so I thought I'd do a little bit of that this afternoon, just show you how the template works, and how easy it is to put the fencing together. So the template comes as a just one piece like that, okay, which is for the pales and the rails to go in a fencing panel, and then the notches on the top are for spacing the posts. Okay, so hopefully I can demonstrate with this one. Not quite. This must be one of the prototype ones. So this is the right spacing for the posts and the stays for the the fencing in the Midland book anyway, where the drawing came from. But I think we get customers saying, "Oh, we want some Great Western fencing, or we want this fencing." To be honest, when I've looked around and looked at books, there's not a lot of difference. We do two variations. I don't know how much of this is all glued in one piece. Everything. Oh, yeah. Never mind. Maybe I can release it. So this is the London Northwestern fencing, and as you can see, you know, we've let the dog in here. There's a bit of a gap in the fencing, but once you've got it glued together, you know, it's a fairly robust structure. What I've done with this one is that I've drilled. Yeah, you can maybe see against the dark background, can't you? Rest that end on there. On the square end of the posts, I've drilled a hole and I've put some brass wire in it, and then put holes in the baseboard so that it's removable if you're transporting it. Or the other advantage that you don't realize until it happens is that if you just have a piece of wire in the bottom of the post there and you lean on the fence, the brass wire will bend rather than the post breaking. Yeah, so it's a bit of a safety catch there. So that's the London Northwestern fencing that we do, and that's the Midland fencing. So you can see it's a little bit shorter, but I would just describe them really as this is a boundary fence. This Midland one is a boundary fence, and the taller one is like a security fence. You know, the fencing's there for a reason on a layout on a railway. So if it's just marking the boundary or just guiding passengers towards the entrance, then it's probably this one, isn't it? But if it's trying to keep somebody out, then it's most probably this one. And of course, if you're just trying to keep animals in or animals out, then it's probably one of the line side fencing kits you want, which is that one. That's a 3-bar one, which makes up into that sort of fencing. But we do a 4-bar one as well, which is that one. Okay. Now both of these kits come with enough stays to put 2 stays in each panel. I've got no stays in this one, and I've got 1 stay in there, but you could have 2. Okay, just depends on the style and the nature of what you're trying to do. And to go with that fencing, we also do a 5-bar gate, which is that. And what I've actually done is the posts come as one piece, and then you cut them to length. You might want to put those into the baseboard or whatever. Yeah. But what I've done here, I don't know if it'll come up very clearly on the camera. Maybe not. So what I've done on this one is I've piled like a pyramid onto the top of the post, and that one's got a half round on the top. Just something a bit different. I've seen farms with both, so just a piece of wood, shape it to the shape you need. We talked about, can the fence do slopes? And the answer is yes. These fences, well, it's fairly rigid. You're going to have to build it how you want to build it, sort of thing. But it will go around a corner. Yeah. Okay, it's glued and the glue's dried and whatever else, but you can put it around a corner. You can bend it like this, but in reality, it might not look so good because you don't get fences that are bent in real life. The way to make this one into a curve would be to drill the holes for the pegs at the bottom of the posts into the baseboard and make it sort of like a threepenny bit sort of bend, because you wouldn't see these rails bent in real life. Everyone will be straight, even if it was going round a bend. Yeah, so that's probably a more prototypical way of putting that together. Okay, so ramps, keep coming back to ramps. So if you wanted to go up a slope, then we've got a piece off a cattle pen here. Sorry, wrong way up. Keep the animals in at the bottom, smaller. So you can use that for a ramp. I don't know, it looks like it's a ramp, or I'm holding it as a ramp. But anyway, if I put those two together, you can see that there's clearly an incline there, and that is because that ramp slope is the same as we use with the cattle pens, which in there is clearly going up a ramp, isn't it? Okay, this is just more pieces of the same one glued together. Yeah, so that's clearly going up a ramp. For this fencing, because each frame is a square, it would be difficult to adjust that. So we do a different template and a different frame for ramps. Okay. But for the Midland template, for the Midland fencing, we do a range of templates. So there's the straight template that comes in the starter kit, because that's probably where you're going to be. That's that one. But the other templates are cut at an angle to give you a template for spacing the rails in the same way. You can probably see by comparison that is at an angle. Yeah. And because of the different things that we do as kits and the different demands from customers, we do that's 1 in 6, okay, which is the one that fits our rural platform. But we also do a template 1 in 8 and 1 in 10. So I guess it depends how many Weetabix or shredded wheat you give to the porters in the morning. The more shredded wheat, the sharper the slope they can get up with a loaded barrow, can't they? So that's a template for a ramp. Works in exactly the same way as I'm just going to show you for a straight one. And I'm using the straight one for the demonstration because our gate sets, that's a gate set with a couple cut out. That's one of them. So our gate sets for the small gates, medium gates, large gates, all fit in the same template. Okay. So what you do is put the frame in the template and put a line of glue along and drop the pails in it. And that's as simple as that. And then you know that all the pails are the same spacing, they're all the same height. And then you can go along to put your posts in, whatever it is. And we do different posts depending on what gates it is. This smaller set of gates comes with some ground posts, so chunky square ones, or some thinner posts that you would glue onto a wall. So if you're going to hinge a gate on a wall in real life, you would just put a batten of timber on the wall and screw it to that. You wouldn't have a big thick post against the wall necessarily. You could do, but right. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use same glue for this that we use for the coaches, and most other things that we glue as well. People ask us about glues, and it seems to be a bit of a mystery, but just use a PVA is fine. A PVA glue, white wood glue, is great. What we use is a Superfatic. It's by Deluxe. We used to sell it, but we've run out. So people used to say to us, what do you use for glue? What do you use for glue? So I got some glue in so that we could sell it. And then people decided they didn't want to buy any. They just wanted to. Anyway, no. So we probably won't be stocking this anymore. The other thing that we've got, and we've still got some stock of, and if you're interested and you order more than £50 worth of stuff in the next few days, you can have a pack of these. Because again, we've got stock. So these are deluxe tips, and they come with the glue. Well, the different tips have come with the glue. We've got metal. Sorry, wrong camera. We've got metal tubes, which I found quite useful for building coaches because there's the right amount of glue comes out. But this Superfatic glue sometimes comes with these finer points, and it is quite fine. And on the pack it says if you pull the tube, it gets finer. So this is okay for 7mm kits, and indeed 4mm, because I was putting some 4mm stuff together last week. You might want to pull it to make it smaller in 2mm, I don't know. Right, so that's the glue we're going to use. And what I'm just going to do here is I'm going to pop out some of these pails. You can see that they're just, can you see?
Not clearly.
Oh, they're getting too bright, isn't it? Yeah, that's better. So you can see they're just tagged in just to keep them in the fret. Most of the kits we do with a lot of pieces in, we supply with a fret, and I think that's just because it looks nicer and it keeps the pieces protected as well in transit in our land, and when we sell it transit for you as well. It looks much nicer than just getting a bag of bits, and you can follow it along and you can cut out the pieces that you need when you need them. You can't see this, can you? Yeah. Everybody's very quiet. Any questions? Anything anybody's wondering about?
Not so far. Everybody's studying your technique with interest. So that you're cutting the top end, aren't you? The shaped ends rather than the flat bottom.
Not sure I understood, Richard. Ask it again.
You're cutting through towards the top, the shaped end of the paling rather than the flat bottom.
Doesn't really matter. It's just cutting out the tags. What I did do was, so if you look on this side, on the printed side, on a kit, we usually etch what it is into the face as well. And you can't easily see where the tags are. So what I did was I turned it onto the back, which isn't cut through, to see where the tags were. That was the only special sort of thing there. Okay. So what I've done with the gate frame is we've got a little piece on that side, where we've just etched in the joints of the the woodworking joints. So I'm going to put that face down so it's still retained. And on the gates, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a line of glue, and you would do this along the rail as well. When you're making a longer piece, I'm just going to put a line of glue along the top and the bottom, which is going to stick the pail, and you're not going to see the line of glue between the pails. Now then, let's have a look. And all I'm going to do is I'm just going to hold the template down. I could blue tack that down or something like that. That would be quite all right. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the pails on the gate just as easily as this. 1, 2. Oops. Okay, so I haven't done those ones. I'll do the last one from the other end. There we are. Okay. Just give it a second to set. There we are. One gate. Put it over there to settle. Shall we do another one?
Yes. Why?
Be a devil. Right, okay. So how many would you need there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is another foot wider. So if we got 8, then let's have a look. Where did that other over there? Okay. There we go. Okay. So if we do a 4-foot one this time, so the gates are just tagged in the same way.
If you were doing just a straight run of fencing, you put what, the parallel bars across?
Yes. Yeah. So what I would recommend, what's in the instructions is the rails that go along fit into the slots, top and bottom. So you can see there's a slot there and there for the bottom and the top and the center. What I would recommend is that you place the top and the bottom rails in and do exactly the same we've just done with the gate. Put the pails in, and that's one panel, and then another panel and another panel, and then use the template to help you place the center rail, but so that the joint in the rail is overlapped. So it's still going to be in line with a post in the center. Yeah. But it just means that you don't have all the joints in one place. So you do the top and the bottom, you've got a joint there and there, but on the center rail you'd have a joint there and there. So it just adds to the integrity. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
But when you've got, I say I don't have one made up, but when you've got a full length made up, you can waft it around and you can do all sorts with it. It's very strong when the glue's dried. The other thing that we'll come back to in a minute, when we were looking at the LNWR fencing, we looked at the brass. Well, you've got to be careful with these because the glue goes slowly down the wide bit, and when you get to the narrow bit, it shoots down. But is still very very good for precisely locating very small parts of glue. Right, okay, just suck it all out again. When we're looking at the LNWR fencing, we were looking at the brass rod that I put into the bottom of the posts, and it's quite a good method, that, because it makes sure that you've got some safety built in there. If you lean on it, you're going to bend the brass post and not break the post. With the Midland traditional fencing, we do 2 types of post, and they're sort of available as alternatives within the kit. And that is for a platform edge post. So a platform edge like along the back of a platform, like you see on our diorama, or behind me here, but on the website anyway. And that's a full width post all the way down to the ground. We also do a line side post, which is designed to be, I want another rail for this. Oh, it's there. Some more glue. Which designed to have a smaller hole drilled into the baseboard. Okay, so it's the platform edge posts are quite wide. I'll show you in a second. Good. All that. Stay. Good. And that's another one. This is because there's a template involved, because there's only one place you can put the rails. There's only so many places, you know, there's only one place you can put each pail. This is the sort of thing you can do on your knee in front of the telly. Quite therapeutic. So, okay, let me see if I can show you. So this is a platform edge post. So it's full width for the height of the fence plus the height of the platform at the back. Okay, so you know, you can screw it onto the platform wall or whatever it is. The other post we do is platform edge post. Let me see if we can do without that light on, Richard.
You're getting a lot of reflection off it.
Yeah, a lot of glare, wasn't there?
Yeah.
That's probably better, isn't it? Right. Okay. So that's the platform edge post, and that's the line side post. So you can see, you know, there's a platform difference in the height. So this is just the post for putting on the line side, and it's got a notched post which is shorter, just a short little extension to drill and put into the baseboard, which, if you recall what you saw with this one, that's the post. Yeah, I'll turn it over. That is the post. Okay, and sometimes, you know, if modelers buy 2 or 3 kits of fencing, then they might sort of choose 2 of these and 1 of these, because it goes along the back of the platform, down the ramp, and then along the baseboard. So, you know, mix and match whatever you need for the location that you have. Okay. Very quiet audience. Any questions?
No, nobody's diving in. I think everybody's stunned by it.
Entranced by the right. Okay. Can we provoke anybody to speak by saying, is there anything that you'd like to see? Have we got any requests about anything that you'd like to see demonstrated?
Just as a point, Anthony, when you overlap the center rail, if you like,
yes,
does the top and bottom rail get in the way because they're not going to overlap over the edges of the frame, are they?
I can see you thinking about this one. So The answer's no, because what I would do is turn it over and put the pails in first. Yeah, because the posts wouldn't be there. So then you've got a clear visibility about where you should be lining in the rails up.
Sorry, no. It's when if you've made 3 or 4 sections.
Yes.
And you've put the top and bottom rail in prior to putting the pails on.
Yeah.
You then said you would overlap to get the centre one in. But then surely the edge where you've got your thumbs are going to get caught up in the.
Yes. Okay. So maybe I said the wrong words in the wrong order. So put the top and the bottom rails in.
Yeah.
And make up the panel with the pails on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then if you turn it pails down, so let's say this is one panel.
Yes.
This is another panel. They're not going to fit in the whole way. You're right.
Yeah.
Pails will line up. And
you can then see where to put the centre rail.
Yes, exactly.
Right. Okay. Fine.
And
yeah,
this is spaced a little bit differently because it was probably one of the very first prototype ones. What you can see is that you've got spaces to put the rails, so that the notches on the ends are still there for you to align that, but you can also see where the joints need to be. So the joints are behind the post.
Yes.
So yeah. You've not sort of compromised anything because you've still got that joint hidden inside all the components that overlap it.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Yeah.
Adds to the integrity a little bit.
Yeah. We've had one question from Tim, who says, what about wire fences?
What about wire fences? Yeah. We don't do wire fences.
But could you
on the basis that we don't? So Tim, come off mute if you wish, and tell us a little bit more from your point of view. If you were doing wire fences, would you only want one thickness of wire? Could you source the wire from somewhere? Is that pragmatic? Is that possible for modelers to source wire? What we can certainly do, and we've done it in the past, is we've made posts with holes in. So that part of the equation is good. It's just getting the wire. It's just getting the wire.
Now I've bought wire for Jeff to make wire fences at SR7, and you can buy lengths of brass wire from 4D Models, which is just up. It's lucky it's up my way in Aldgate. They sell wire in 1 meter lengths, so you can get 0.5 and 0.8 and 1 and 1.2, 1.5, etc. But you can get it in 1 meter lengths, which is great for making wire fences like that, because you can get a huge run. But all you need is you just need the posts with the holes drilled in them, really.
Yeah.
And if you could create like 3 dozen posts with 0.5 millimeter holes in, that would be perfect. You could make 1 meter lengths.
Sorry, you can't see the wheels going around, which isn't very interesting.
Yeah. No, I thought you. I didn't.
Now, from my point of view, how do I post that in a kit?
Well, I mean, I don't know.
So where I've considered it in the past is having a reel of mild steel wire or whatever, yeah. So that you can make it into a sort of a, I don't know, 3 or 4 inch reel.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But then from a modeler's point of view, and just sort of thinking about what Tim was asking for.
Can you hear me now, Poppy?
Yeah, we can hear you now, Tim.
Oh, hi. I had to go to my preferences and set microphone on in Zoom, but I'm done now. Yeah, no, my thinking was that a lot of railway side fences are based on wire.
Yeah.
But what would be interesting would be to have your wooden posts ready drilled to take the wire. Is that feasible?
Yeah.
That would be something I'd buy straight away. In fact, I'm doing a 7mm model of Dunster Station, so at some point I'll be needing some of your lovely fencing. It's really good.
Thank you.
Really enjoying the demo.
So what would you, I mean, if you were doing wire fencing?
Yeah.
I mean, open to anybody, not just Tim.
If I can chip in at this point,
About having Peter talked about having
the model I'm working on at my local club, which is multi-gauge, but we're doing a no-gauge layout. We wanted a load of wire fencing, and we got fence posts, and happily sort of drilled each post with 3 little holes, and then we got some. I think we used copper wire, thin copper wire, and threaded it through, and got hopefully the right. Then put a series of holes in the baseboard and stuck the posts in at what was then sort of a relatively uniform distance between posts. And the last post either end, you wrapped the wire round the post a couple of times and put a blob of glue on it to get the thing to sort of appear reasonable.
To get the tension just like the real thing, in fact.
Yes, yeah.
I suppose you'd want that diagonal brace, wouldn't you, on the posts that they seem to have sometimes?
Yes, we occasionally we have done, particularly at the end. We'd put a diagonal post. But it was terribly fiddly, and it is also prone to damage because you put the wire fence at the edge of the layout, and the crowd surge round it to watch it, and all these little fingers come and appear, and bodies press on, and even though you've got barriers, you find your sort of post, instead of being upright like that with the wire fence, is bent like that, or occasionally snapped off altogether.
Just like a real one, then.
Yeah, just like a real one. Yes, vandalised.
So I mean, Peter talked there about buying meters of wire. You talked about copper wire.
I think the last time we used it was just some brass wire with it, and it was I don't know. We got a 7-meter spool or something for about £3.
Guitar strings are good.
I was thinking even more economic than that. If you've got some old electrical wire,
yeah, you could strip it out. Yeah,
not wire.
Yeah,
needs
to be bell wire, doesn't it? We're a single strand.
Well, no, even if it's multi-strand, then in a 2-meter
you can undo it.
Electrical cable.
Yeah.
Sorry, you were going to say, Peter?
I said you can undo it, but what I was going to say is that rather than sort of provide the whole shooting match, just the posts with the holes drilled in.
Yeah.
Yes, that's what I was advocating.
And perhaps a supply of bracing, for every 10 posts of bracing posts.
Have the post ready drilled accurately in the same place in each one of them would be a great boon.
Well, that's one of the themes. I don't know whether it appeared on the menu or not. That's one of the themes that I sort of had for this afternoon session, making repetitive and difficult tasks part of enjoying the hobby.
Yeah. Oh, I see. Bit of therapy.
And really what I was thinking of when I was doing that, I was thinking of balancing.
Balances, yeah.
You know, imagine cutting that out. It'd be a passion, wouldn't it?
Pain in the butt. I think the expression was.
Yeah. That's a technical term, isn't it? And
are you CNC with a laser cutter, Poppy? Is that how you do it?
It's a laser cutter, yeah. So all the things that you've seen us do are birch plywood.
Right.
So birch plywood is going to be well, different thicknesses, but we have 0.4, 0.8, 1.5 and 3 millimeter plywood.
Nice and strong being ply.
Yeah, he's going to take some abuse. Yeah.
This is the stuff that you source from Finland and Russia, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right.
We've got a few trees there.
Yeah. Well, don't know. I've certainly done it at talk when I've done talks to clubs. I've sort of talked about it. You've got to be careful. Well, no, we don't need to be careful because it's the people up the chain that need to be careful when they're using the trees from Russia and so on, because they have bullets in them.
Bullets?
Yeah.
Well,
I've heard that as
been
well.
through a German advance that way, and they've been through a Russian advance that way, and those are the ones that are more than 60 years old anyway. So
I bought some venison sausages recently from a farmer's market, and it said, "Warning, may contain lead shot."
There you go.
Yeah.
Got some game in it or something then, I guess. Yeah.
I remember you saying on a previous occasion that yes, you get your ply, and it's all right if it's visible in the external piece, but if it's stuck in the middle of it, it can half cause problems cutting it.
Yeah, absolutely.
The other thing is,
you need to know the material you're dealing with. That's the thing.
Yeah. The other thing is, I suppose after 2070, they're not going to be allowed to cut wood. It's because of deforestation.
I'll get stocked up then.
Yeah.
The other thing to say, Peter, is you don't notice it on thin pieces like this. Okay, the posts here are out of 1.5 millimeter plywood.
Yeah.
So what's that for us? That's about 3 inches. Yeah, nearest to 3 inches I can get. Yeah. If we're going to cut it out of 3 millimeter plywood, which is going to give you a 6-inch post, really, isn't it? About a 6-inch post. Yeah. What you need to understand is that the nature of the laser cut is that it's a beam of light which is focused on a point.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, what that means is that when it's cutting through it, it's not a parallel cut, it's a cone.
Oh, right. I see what you mean.
Yeah, so I'm maybe exaggerating a bit here, but it's a cone. So if you're trying to achieve something that is going to be absolutely a square post, it's not the solution. Yeah, but if you can accept a post which has come out of the Forestry Commission when they've been sawing trees down and whatever else, and the posts are a little bit irregular. I mean, I'm only going to cut straight lines, but it's going to be, it's going to be a post that is that sort of shape. Yeah.
It's not going to be all that noticeable.
We've sold, I don't know how many hundreds and hundreds and hundreds. We've got the coal staves we do. Yeah. the sleepers that we do for the posts on the coal stays are the same thing. Yeah, but nobody's ever commented that they're a bit tapered. Well, yeah, you're only going to notice the tapered when you've got 20 of them together and they're different ways round and stuff like that. You're going to notice the difference, but you can't actually see it because your eye looks at the perspective rather than the shape, you know. But that's yeah, absolutely. Send me your orders.
I mean,
So what we need to know is, because I need to be able to set the machine up. So how high are these posts?
well, I'm looking at the Southern book at the moment, which they're concrete posts, but that doesn't matter.
Well, it does, because these will have a wood grain on them.
Yeah, but you can. What we do is we paint them with external masonry paint, so that covers it all up, so it looks like a.
Yeah, Peter, they don't need to. You know, if you say to me you want a concrete post, then I can cut it out of MDF.
Oh right, well, okay.
You know, I mean, so there we go. You know, we're talking about variations already. So, how high are the posts? How many holes do you want for the wire? Are you going to want them closer together at the bottom than the top to keep the small animals in and the large animals in?
Well, I'm looking at Southern.
Are we getting too complicated?
I'm looking at Southern 8-wire fencing, and the whole post was 7 foot 10.5 tall, but 3 foot of that was below ground.
Right. Okay. So you're not going to drill a 21mm hole in the baseboard, are you?
No. But and it's 4 close together at the bottom and 4 separated at the top. I mean, I've got all the dimensions here. If
dimensions are good.
I've got drawings for that.
Yeah. Dimensions are good because if we're same as the coaches, I mean, you know, it's a simple little fence post, but if we've got dimensions, we know it's right. We've got a much better chance of it looking realistic. Yeah. So dimensions are good. Same for you, Tim. You know, I mean, let's see if we can measure one up, and you know, I mean, not with a tape measure necessarily. We're talking about this earlier on. You know, number of courses of bricks, or you know, how high is it compared to the platform that's next to it?
That's all out of this book, which is brilliant.
So that's for concrete ones. I don't know, does that fit Tim's or not? Were you after wooden ones, Tim, or concrete ones, or what?
Tim's muted himself. If you unmute Tim.
Yeah, he might be struggling again. What?
Down the bottom left-hand corner of your screen, there should be a microphone with a line through it. If you just click on that, that should unmute you.
Can as a host, Richard, can you do like mute everybody and unmute everybody and stuff like that?
I can mute everybody, but I am unable to unmute everybody. It was a function that was available on earlier versions of Zoom.
Right.
Then there was a complaint that in being able to unmute people, you were contravening their human rights.
Oh, don't
so they removed it.
Oh dear.
Yeah, don't. You know.
Well, and there's nothing wrong with it, but he's
Yes. Yeah, precisely.
Never mind. Right. Okay. So if I guess you can hear us, Tim. Just reach us through the website, send us an email, tell us what you need. Was it this morning? It must have been this morning session, Richard. We said, anybody remember the old Unipart advert?
Yeah.
What's the question? The answer is yes.
Yeah.
Yes, what's the question? That's the way around, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's like my wife telling the werewolf joke. Do you know the werewolf joke?
No, what's the werewolf joke?
I used to be a werewolf. What all right now?
Oh God.
Oh dear, oh dear. Oh dear, oh dear.
Yeah, except when Karen says, "Yeah, I used to be a werewolf, but now I'm all right."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh dear.
Shall tell, next time I see her, I shall tell her you're making comments.
Oh, thanks.
Anthony, how do I had a quick look at your website a bit earlier.
Right.
How do you I know that you've got an order form. How do you pay? Do you accept checks or what would you like?
Yeah, good question. What we do is normal course of events is you send us a form or an email. I mean, we need postal address. We need to know what you need, and then we send you a little pro forma for you to pay either by bank transfer or check.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then you dispatch the goods.
And then we send the goods. Yeah. Usually next day. If it's something to make, the day job's been a bit hectic recently, so it might need to wait till the next weekend or something like that to make it. But that's the only constraint, really. That's the only constraint, really. Yeah.
Right.
Michael, did you have a question?
Please, yeah. Can we go back to the wagon inserts?
You can, sir. What
Um,
would you like to ask?
presumably the internal ironwork, the knees and all that sort of thing, presumably the modeler still has to do those.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah, I thought so.
Yeah,
And there's all the sort of internal bolt heads and that sort of thing along the diagonal braces. Presumably they've all got to be done.
Yeah, I mean, if let's have a where's the what's it? So, oh no, we're on the wrong camera, aren't we? Let me try and put it on the close-up camera. What we do is we, if you can see,
Yeah.
What
the door is marked.
The door is marked, and trying to get the light so it works. The rivets that are on the outside,
yeah,
there are rivets sort of bumps and things, aren't there? They are reflected by marks on the inside.
Right.
Okay.
So we know where to put them.
You know where to put them.
Yeah.
If that's something you want to do, yeah, absolutely. At shows, Mr. Slater sometimes comes and has a look and goes, they're nice.
Well, he doesn't put any interiors in anyway.
No, exactly. I mean, this is one of the reasons why we came up with this, because I could never paint it like wood. So, there's a solution there. And he points out to me on the Gloucester wagons, as you say, the strapping is actually on the inside.
Yes, it is. Yes. Well, the older ones certainly. Yes.
Yeah. And I it's fair point. But as you quite rightly say, they're not on the Slater's kits either, are they? So, I think well, I don't know. Modelers do ask whether you can put these on the Dapple ones, but of course there is that embossed detailing already on the inside of the Dapple ones.
Yes, yeah.
So you have to remove that to be able to fit these properly.
Well, there is on the park side one as well.
True, absolutely, yeah.
No, I essentially scratch build, but I was just looking at ways of, if you like, saving me a bit of time and effort. But I've still got to do a fair amount of the work anyway. So,
when we were at the Bury show, the only show I've been to in 18 months, Bury St Edmunds, we had a little Gage-O sort of super club day, if you want to call it that.
Mm.
There was a guy asked me there about making wagon bodies.
Yeah.
Okay, so we already do. I don't know. Are you a guild member?
Sorry?
You a guild member?
Yeah. Oh, yes.
Yeah.
For
So,
50 years.
ooh, crikey. So you'll have a proper manual then.
Yes.
Oh, I'm done with it. Oh, it's here.
Some of the track work manual I wrote.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, well done you. Now I've got some. We don't need to take up the rest of people's time. But if you know about track work, I need to ask you questions.
Go on.
So ask if you can send me an email or something. I'll contact you outside. Unless we run out of time, then we can chat about it later. So in about June 18, there was a guy did some articles in the Gazette about paper overlays.
Yes.
He was putting paper overlays on wagons to make his own private owner things, you know. And I thought, wow. And then he was making them out of plastic, and I thought, what a waste. So we came up with these. So I just do like an interior.
Yeah.
Put paper overlays on. Now you're not talking about paper overlays. You're talking about
No.
on that, aren't you? But where
I
we
haven't got one handy just at the moment, otherwise I'd fish it out. But
no, it's fine. It's fine. Where we got to with the guy at Bury St Edmunds was we said, well, look, you know, that's a 1.5 millimeter body.
Yeah.
The insert's a 0.8 millimeter. So put in a too thin. Yeah. So what we said was, well, doing a 1.5 millimeter skin with a 0.8 millimeter laminated would be about right.
Too thick.
Too thick.
Yeah. Yeah, that will bring it up to 2.4, which is 4 inches.
Okay.
I mean, the 1.5, 1.6 millimeters just right, because it's about, that comes out 2 3/4 inches.
Okay.
And most wagon bodies are either 2 3/4 or 3, possibly sometimes 3 1/4, but I doubt if you'll find very many thicker than that.
No, fine. That's all right. So could you live with 2.8 millimeters? 1.6. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not that much difference, is it? Okay. Reason for me asking is we do some things that are double-sided. So for example, the platform shelter, it's planked on that side and it's planked on that side.
Yes.
But it's fiddly to do.
Yeah.
To do one piece, take it out of the machine, turn it over, and do it again. Yeah. So doing 2 pieces that be laminated back to back is much easier.
Yeah.
Much easier mechanically operationally for me to make for you. And probably because what I would recommend is that you had a step in the end and then a step this way.
Yes. Yeah. That strengthens the corner.
Glue line in there, and you'll cover the joint anyway up with a corner strap, wouldn't you?
Yes.
Unless it was
or the end door. Yeah.
Yeah. In which case you'd not put a step.
You wouldn't step it at the end door.
Yeah.
No. 0.8. A pair of 0.8 laminates would be right, because that would bring it then up to the 1.6.
Yeah. Solution.
That would work.
How many would you like, sir?
At the moment, I don't know. I'm trying to build that instead at the moment.
Oh,
but no, I have built a lot of wagons, some from kits and some from. Yes, I noticed that earlier on.
So you'll be needing one of these then. No. Look, Michael, I don't do hard sell.
That's the underframe for it.
Oh, okay. Oh, that's Loco or the tender? That's tender. Yeah?
Tender, yeah. It's a Midland 060.
Right. Right. Ideal for the Loco.
Yes. I noticed that. I will certainly have a good think about that.
Yeah. Well, if you want to ask, just anything you're unsure about, or
Yeah. I'm interested in that, certainly.
I don't know. I've done it before today, so if I'm repeating myself here, I apologise. I've just put some extra photos and comments on the website customers page.
Right.
About Loco boxes, so you might find that useful.
Yes. I will have a look at that. Certainly. Yeah.
It's one of the things that's been a consistent seller through lockdown, So I'm guessing that people have been going through the modelling cupboard and getting things out to do.
If I turn that round, you might be able to see the pile of stuff up there that needs doing.
Oh yeah. I can say.
Well, the philosophy behind that, in actual fact, was before I retired, I thought I'm going to have all the time in the world, but no money. Therefore, get all the stuff I need while I've still got the money to do it.
I know that one. I've
still got all the time in the world. I haven't got the money. I still haven't done it. So that's why they're still up there.
I don't want to go there.
I hate to draw this to a conclusion, gents, but we do need to move on. If you two gentlemen want to continue happily by some other electronic means, by all means do so. But I wonder if we can gently pull this session to a close. I have to disappear somewhere.
You've got another job, yeah?
No, I've got to go get a PCR test for COVID.
Oh,
right.
It don't matter about a test, Richard. You've got it or you haven't.
Well, I hopefully I haven't got it, but I found out a little while ago that my son-in-law has acquired it, and I was in cahoots with my son-in-law over last weekend. So
Never mind. Fine. Okay. Have we run out of time?
Yeah,
yes.
we are 20 minutes over time.
Really?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. So yes. Yeah, I was thinking it was 3:30, but no, it was 15:15, wasn't it? So.
Yep. But it's been fascinating. Thank you very much, Anthony.
Yes, thank you. Yeah.
And thank you, Michael. Thank you, Tim. Thank you, Brian.
Yes, thank you very much.
Yeah.
Excellent.
And I'd be very interested to talk to you.